Bosko in Dutch is a 1933 Warner Brothers cartoon. This is directed by Fritz Freleng and Hugh Harman. It's written by Fritz Freleng with a voice cast including Rochelle Hudson and Johnny Murray. And it's absolutely fine. It's one of those Bosko cartoons where I don't think I really enjoyed it very much, but there's nothing wrong with it, and I don't regret having watched it, but I can't imagine I'd ever watch it again. This is, of course, set in Holland, and we have some stereotypes, I guess. There's clog dancing at one point to some pretty good music. I liked the music in this, and Bosko and Honey are dancing next to a windmill, and the setting is pretty decent. It works well enough, and it actually starts off with characters ice skating on a pond, and then Bosko and Honey go off and dance, and then some of the characters who are on ice get into a bit of a difficult situation. And I'll say no more than that. But I feel like the narrative structure is pretty good. We have a very clear beginning, middle, and end. And that's not always necessary for cartoons, but I do tend to prefer very well-written narratives. And the action definitely rises. That's working very well. And the characters are all, well, I was going to say interesting. That's maybe a stretch. Bosko and Honey are okay. The rest of the characters were not that fascinating. I don't feel like we ever got to know any of them. So they were more background, but sometimes we'd actually focus on the characters. So I feel like we either needed to focus more on some of the other characters to build that emotional connection to them, or they needed to be a lot more in the background. So I don't think the balance there was as good as it could have been. But other than that, it's not too bad. And then we have the animation quality itself, and I think we have a nice amount of detail. We have some good detail in the backgrounds without them being tremendously busy, which again is something that I like. I don't like it when cartoons are too fussy. I don't need things to be too straightforward, but if there's too much detail in the background, I can personally find it quite distracting, and that's not the case here. So, as you can see, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There is nothing about Bosko in Dutch that didn't work. But at the same time, it's not the most memorable. It's never going to be my favourite. Would I recommend it? Well, yes, if you like Bosko, or indeed if you like cartoons set in Holland. If you've never seen a Bosko cartoon before, it's not a bad one to start with. It wouldn't be the first one I'd recommend. Not that I know which one that would be, but it wouldn't be this one. But that being said, it's okay. Bosko in Dutch may not be perfect, but at the same time, there's nothing really wrong with it. And if it sounds like it would appeal to you, then I'd say it might be worth checking out.